ethical conflict. And it's not possible to resolve it. On the one hand, anyway, he's a peace-loving person. He doesn't want to go to war, but he has to go to war because of the demands of the circumstances. Then, on top of that, the people he has to go to war with are his family members. So on two levels, he is going against Dharma in order to fulfill Dharma. So the contradiction is what's giving him the torment. And here you have Krishna saying, this is a real situation, and I'm telling you that what you have to do is to destroy these people. And then he goes on later in the chapter to explain why it's ethical to do that.
His use of language is very descriptive. He says, page 35, I do not desire to kill them who are bent on killing. Later it is said on page 38 or further that he saw evil and was quite happy to turn his back on evil. That is his way of dealing with evil.
Well, isn't that the case for so many of us? We just turn our back on it and hope it'll go away, but it doesn't.
So what is the message here? That when you encounter evil, you do what?
When you encounter evil, you have to face it. You have to destroy it. But evil itself and your relatives are not the same thing. So he sees his relative, and within his relative he sees evil. But nevertheless, evil itself is not the same thing as the person. So you have two things, but one of them is inside the other one, which makes it very difficult. Because you have a paradox, and you have to deal with the paradox.
And the Bhagavad Gita is full of them, isn't it?
Full of it,
yeah.
Yes. And I think spirituality is all about dealing with these impossible, irreconcilable paradoxes. And I think that the sign of a spiritually enlightened person is that they can work with paradox and resolve them.
Oh wait, hold on, Denise, that is very powerful. Say that again. A sign of?
The sign of a spiritually enlightened person is they're able to work with paradox and resolve the paradox, you see. Because a regular person, it's either this or this. You can't be both and. You know, like the idea of destiny. It's either destined or you have free will. But in the Gita, it's all merged together. And you have to work with the paradox of destiny and freedom. And this is why it's so tormenting for Arjuna, because he is the embodiment of the principles of righteousness. Krishna, as God, is explaining to him otherwise, and God anyway will tell the truth, and the truth of God is in opposition to the truth that has been determined by tradition. And this is where you have a very difficult conflict to resolve.
Page 46, Arjuna goes so far as to say that he's prepared to die rather than kill. It is that intense. You said in an earlier episode that Arjuna represents a man of conscience, a man who's morally stable and sound. And if you look at average, good person, in inverted commas, many in the world believe that they cannot kill and wouldn't want to. But the question is, kill what? They're faced with the scenario where your very life is threatened by evil, and so how do you manage that? But Arjuna is in the position where he says, I would rather die. The last verse in chapter 1 sees our hero literally throw down his bow and arrow and figuratively / literally fall onto his knees in a sign of total dejection.
But also he's immediately accused of cowardice.
Yeah.
You see, and Krishna doesn't accept this, you see. So in other words, there is no way out. And just avoiding the problem There's no way out.
Is that what Arjuna is doing? He sees evil and he says, I'm not touching this.
Well, he sees evil, he knows he has to destroy evil because of it being evil, but then he says, the thing in which the evil is my relative. So then he starts to not see the evil because it's inside, and he sees the surface, which is the relative, and then he's responding to his sense perception. His eye sees the relative and no longer sees the evil.
And his feelings.
His feelings, he has attachment.
Yes, I mean, you care about your relatives. They're your relatives.
And even if his relatives are doing very bad things, that's secondary to the fact that they're his relatives, you see, in his hierarchy of moral principles.
Who is Arjuna's enemy? What is Arjuna's enemy?
I think we'll have to say that his enemy is his perception.
That's grab onto my chair. Hold on tightly, answer. His problem is not on the outside, his problem is on the inside.
Here you have a spiritual being, the soul of Arjuna, in the body of Arjuna, talking to the Spirit of God, who is clothed in, the word Krishna means the most attractive one. And so God is in a very attractive form. You'll see later on in the Gita, he wants to see God in his multi-dimensional form, which is then too scary. He says, no, I like the attractive form because then me and God, we're friends. And then it's a situation of anthropomorphization of God, in which he makes God into a human like himself. And there's other parts a little later in the God when he realizes how limited it is to do that. So his problem at every step is he's limited by sense perception. When he sees Krishna as Krishna the man, he's limited by seeing something that looks like a human being who he can make as his friend. When he's seeing Duryodhana, he's seeing his relative. Visual perception. What the Gita is all about is the whole question of blood connection. A blood relative you can't kill, it's dishonorable. You can kill somebody who's other. And the problem with this war is it's civil war, but even deeper than that, it's a family feud. And so the blood connection between them demands that you have to honor that. And then the behavior demands a different thing. And the two demands are absolutely incompatible. So this is tormenting for Arjuna because he cannot resolve this. And the problem is that he's perceiving the human form. And he's not perceiving the spirit that is contained within the form.
What comes to mind is that from the moment we meet Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, we know that he is a warrior. But when he throws down his bow and arrow, he's an unarmed warrior in a battlefield. He's putting himself into an increasingly dangerous position because of the way he feels. And Sister Denise, he not only feels pain and torment, he feels an extreme amount of fear. Fear for himself and fear for the people that he loves.
That's what he's accused of. He's accused of fear, but I don't think he's afraid.
What do you think he feels?
I think he feels that he cannot resolve the situation, and what many of us will do, somebody else has to solve my problem. Because I cannot solve my own problem. You go to a higher authority. You see, and so he says, Krishna, you're God, you figure it out. And Krishna says, excuse me, you figure it out.
Okay.
You can't get away with that. It's childishness.
It is hard for Arjuna to hear that, is it not?
Well,
it's very strong medicine.
Yeah, the Gita is very strong medicine.
The Bhagavad Gita is a song, it's a magic flute, it's knowledge, and it's medicine. I hope you're taking note of this at home. It's medicine. I've never thought of the Bhagavad Gita as medicine.
Because it's so difficult to swallow.
Ah, that's quite funny. Okay, so Sister Denise, how are we able to take what is written in chapter 1 or contained in chapter 1 and apply it to the person that you are right now? When I read the Bhagavad Gita, after I read chapter 1, I thought this Arjuna seems like a really nice guy, and I have full sympathy with everything that he's feeling. And it's very cleverly written, because the moment you meet Arjuna, you identify with him because he represents who you are. I mean, if you faced when you're about to be annihilated, the average person, an ordinary person, whatever that means nowadays, will be frozen in fear, but will not reach for a weapon themselves to kill the perpetrator of the intended crime. You just look at the person whilst you're being killed. So one can easily identify with this Arjuna, whose character is presented to the reader from day one as being somebody of noble bearing.
Yeah, and a warrior must be fearless, otherwise you're not a warrior. And if you're going to kill somebody who's looking at you, it's more difficult to kill them because they're looking at you.
Ooh.
Usually the killers want their victims to be in a state of extreme terror and looking away. And if they're sitting calmly looking at them, it's difficult to pull that trigger.
What should we learn from Arjuna's plight? This is before God delivers an answer.
Yes. I think what we need to do with chapter 1 is realize that a lot of us have a lot of arrogance.
What type of arrogance?
Well, you see, Arjuna is thrown down his weapons. He's a warrior. That's not what you do. And so the arrogant person will say, oh, he's wimp.
What are Arjuna's weapons? What is his bow and what is his arrow?
Well, that's an interesting aspect of the symbolism. The arrows...
Sorry, he's an archer.
Yes.
Is he not? Yes.
Arjuna is the only one who has that total concentration that in his training that you see in the Mahabharata, release your arrow, when Arjuna says, I cannot see anything except the eye of the bird, and then the arrow goes straight to the eye. That means Arjuna has absolutely total concentration, which is perfect for a warrior. He's a hero. He's the number one, the best, and yet he's a child in the face of this tremendous dilemma. He just doesn't have what it takes to resolve that. And the arrogant person is also a child, and so has to be challenged. What do you mean here, you know? Because you see, Arjun is the compassionate one, the one who's concerned to do everything right.
Mm. The man is concerned with the destruction of family, lawlessness reigning, women being corrupted, etc. He is an extremely concerned citizen.
Anybody who really is concerned about the state of the world, the state of society, etc., is motivated to do something. And Arjuna is clearly in a situation where all of his feelings, all of his perceptions of the state of the world force him to act, you know. But every time he takes a step of action, he encounters something which makes him want to not act, because if he acts, he goes against his principles. And if he doesn't act, he also goes against his principles, but different ones.
Okay, so our principles itself can become our enemy.
Yes. Well, our principles themselves don't become our enemy, but when you look at the principles you have in the context of a real situation, then you realize that the real situations and the theoretical principles cannot work together. And this is a really big problem of the world today, because if anybody is a person of principle, they come into a real situation, they get caught up in all varieties of compromise, you see, and then they have to start going against their principles. The principles are untenable, and then it gets more and more and more difficult. And this is why people tend to say, it's too hard, somebody else can figure it out for me. I'm looking for an external moral authority. And the ultimate external moral authority is, of course, God. But then God will tell you to do something that you'll argue with, you see. And you'll say, look, God, we can't do that because it's immoral. And God will say, well, you know what, I'm God, so what are you talking about? And it's difficult.
Yes. Okay, Sister Denise, so is Arjuna's problem that he cannot kill anyone, or is it that he cannot kill something?
It's not even quite as simple as that. His problem is he can't kill someone who's a blood relative.
Okay.
But he has to, because that one has become the embodiment of evil. This is what the dilemma is. He can't and he must at the same time. So he says, I won't do it. Upon seeing the blood relative, he's not able to see that the pure evil has to be destroyed, because he sees the chariot or the form in which the evil is manifest.
Okay, unfortunately we have to stop right there, and I don't know about you, but I'm waiting in breathless anticipation to see what Sister Denise has to share on the next episode. So there you have it. I take it that those of you who are listening to this episode have some knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. If you don't, I recommend that you do. Sister Denise has shared in this episode how she interprets the various stanzas to understand the extent of Arjuna's pain. And when you're reading this, I recommend that you look into the mirror of your heart and ask yourself, do you identify with Arjuna in any way? And if you were in the situation that he is, in other words, if you faced evil, if you encountered evil face to face, what would you do? I think this is the question that Sister Denise has brought to light in this episode. How do you deal with the evil in your life? This is not a historical question. This is a question that's facing you today in your life. So we'll end here. And I would ask you to join us for the next episode when we find an answer to this extremely deep, fascinating and relevant question for the 21st century. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sister Denise, and goodbye.
Knowledge makes you free, knowledge makes you strong. Put your heart right in the place. You can't be going wrong. When the going gets so hard, you need to be on guard. And all that you have, distant as your heart. You go deep inside, find a new way of life. Flying free
Dear friends, welcome to Light of Knowledge International. We have been speaking on freedom. We have covered several aspects on expectations, on how not to control anyone or how not to be controlled by anyone. However, I think we need to explore much more than that. And I'm sure that spirituality has a lot to offer. And for that, we have Sister Sapna with us. Sister Sapna, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So as we were discussing in the previous episode, you shared that we need to go inside, right? We have to find peace, love, everything within because it is there inside. However, if I go inside, how will I express my opinion? How will I express my views? How will I express my feelings? And if I'm not expressing it, I'm not enjoying the freedom. So how spirituality going inside is giving me freedom?
That's a very interesting thing what you have asked, because many people have this misconception about spirituality when we talk about going within, going inside. So sometimes people feel that that means we just have to be quiet and silent and no need to say anything, no need to express or should not be expressing your opinions or ideas. But that's not right. First thing is we have to change this definition of being spiritual and going within. So going within, first thing is that I understand myself. I realize myself as a conscient entity, the being of energy. Like we discussed before, that I am that love, peace and happiness. This is my true self. So as I go within, I realize this self, and from that inner space of my original self, then I relate with the outside world, with others. So being in that consciousness, being in that awareness, then I'm talking to you. So I will be able to express myself in a right perspective. And at the same time, I'm not expecting from you the required kind of response that I want.
Because it is there inside.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I say that I'm a loveful being or, but then I don't feel love. Even if I say it just to convince myself, okay, to a certain extent I can accept it. But to accept it completely, it is difficult. Because yes, I feel frustrated. I feel nervous. I feel scared. I don't like a lot of people. I don't like a lot of situations. How can I be loveful?
So I would say that this is reality. So one is my original reality. And another is my present reality. So in my present reality, I might be influenced by other people's opinions and I feel controlled by their reactions or responses towards me or towards my ideas or their judgments about me. So I might be affected and influenced by that. But that is why every now and then I have to remind myself. I need to go within and tell myself, what is my original self? What is my reality in my originality? So originally I started my journey as a being from peace, happiness, love. And that is me. But on the way, I started expecting these things from outside. Because somewhere I forgot myself. I forgot that it is there inside. So in this process, I lost my real self, the connection with my original self. So that is why I need to again and again remind myself. And that is the practice of spiritual knowledge in day-to-day life.
Can you give us some example of how do you practice that in your life? Because you are a spiritual person. I'm sure you might have a lot of experiences. Can you just share one of those?
Like I would say, and I think it is applicable for everyone, it's useful for everyone. Like I said, that we have to remind ourselves again and again about our real self. For that, we practice meditation. And meditation is basically connecting with your real self. So for that, I create an inner space for myself wherein I withdraw myself from the outside world for some time. It's like just for practice for some time when I have an inner dialogue
Okay.
so that I practice a very positive inner dialogue. Most of the times what is happening otherwise, that what you think about me or what is your opinion about me, I am also influenced. My inner dialogue is also influenced by your opinions,
Yes.
other people's opinions, other people's ideas or their judgments about me. So mostly what happens is, if you don't realize and if you don't sit with yourself and talk to yourself, you don't realize that what quality of inner dialogue is happening inside. So that is why actually this is important, that every day I teach myself. I can be my own teacher.
Yes.
And I can correct where I was actually having some negative influences in my dialogue.
Okay.
Because you said or somebody else said about me, they gave their own opinionated statement about me that I am not right or I am like this, like that. And I started believing that, what they said.
It does happen.
Yeah, somewhere in our subconscious mind, I am receiving that energy and I'm accepting. I start believing maybe they are right. You know, in the beginning, I would have this feeling that maybe they are right. And if they are right, that means I'm not good enough.
Yes.
So here starts the negative dialogue within myself. So I have to shift this to a positive dialogue by reminding myself of that original self.
Okay.
So frequent intervals, I need to sit with myself at least twice a day, morning, before starting my day, before I interact with anybody else, and end of the day.
Okay. So I just have this question that, for example, even if the world is talking negative about me, I feel positive. I feel motivated because I've achieved a lot in life, even when people were not supportive. However, when I'm in this situation wherein, for example, I have to face an interview, I tend to lose that confidence. Although I'm practicing positivity, but at that very moment when I need it the most, I mess up. You know, how to cope up with that?
Now just try to understand your inner self, what is happening inside you. Like you said, you're going for an interview. And before going for an interview, when you say that you are losing your confidence, even though you have achieved a lot previously,
Yes.
in spite of so many different kinds of opinions about you,
Yes.
you still passed that and you were able to overcome all those opinions and you proved yourself,
Yes.
right? So when we say that I proved myself, so it was kind of that
Yes,
feeling, right,
yes,
from your
yes.
side, which I could feel.
Yes.
So when I prove myself, that means I'm actually seeking for approval from others.
Oh, that is so subtle, right?
It is very subtle.
Yeah.
But until you understand this, you cannot make yourself free from those demands of approvals from others. Because I achieved something, and because of that achievement or attainment, a kind of success, now other people, they are respecting me. Because of that. And because of that, I am somewhere inside feeling satisfied that yes, now they understand what is my potential. Now they know who I am, you know. So that kind of feeling to prove yourself is again a dependency on others.
Okay. And maybe that could be a reason that, you know.
So now what is happening in this situation? Again, I'm facing a interview or any other kind of situation where I have defined success and failure in terms of external achievement. And with that success, there is something else attached.
Okay.
And that is again approval, acknowledgement by others on the basis of that success.
Yes. Very true.
So I'm not going for an interview just for myself. It's somewhere to prove myself to the world.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm again creating that dependency. So I'm not free.
So, like you spoke about success and failure. Like, for example, I have given my 100%. I've given my best efforts I could. And still, if I'm not able to crack it or I have failed, how to be free from that feeling of failure?
So that has to be started from the moment when you got the success.
Okay.
If in the phase of success you are stable, and you are not happy because others are acknowledging or you were able to prove yourself in front of others. So you were happy with your efforts.
Yes.
And there are other factors as well, because it's not only your efforts always.
Yeah.
There are so many other factors that is not in your control. So if all those factors, they fall into place, then you are successful. I mean, you got that, you achieved it, you cracked it. But in some other situation, it might happen that it seems like a failure, but still I am contented inside that I did my best. So end of the day, every day, if I practice this, I did my best. No matter what. No matter what is the result. Because result is not 100% depending on my efforts.
Yeah.
There are other factors as well.
Okay.
And second thing is, I don't need acknowledgement or approval from anybody else. I don't need that certificate that if they say you are good, then only I'm good.
Okay.
I need to learn to appreciate myself for what I am and what I did.
So in this process, for example, one person is there and 100 of people, they're saying negative about that one person, and no one is speaking one single positive thing about him. And the society has created a judgment that this person is this way and it is not acceptable. However, that person doesn't feel it, but everybody else is feeling it. Now in this process, he needs to change because there is some negativity. But if he is accepting that okay, I don't need anybody's approval, he may not improve, right? At times.
Yeah, this is a very good thing. Actually, I was thinking about this aspect as well. Because there are two situations. One of the thing is that if I am really wrong. Like actually, we spoke about it a little bit in the previous session that I need to accept myself as I am. My original reality and my present reality, both. So in my present reality, I might have some weaknesses as well. And if somebody is telling me about my weaknesses, with whichever intention. Some people will tell me with so much of good wishes and love for me because they want to see me improved. But other people might have kind of, leg pulling, or they just want to prove themselves right and prove me wrong, whichever intention they are saying, but they are pointing towards my weakness. And if I realize that, it's beneficial for me. So without taking that hurt, because I will take the hurt if I am always expecting good things and approvals from others.
Yes.
So I am actually covered by that ego, which is wrong idea about myself.
Yeah.
And I'm living in that illusion.
Yes.
So it would be very, very difficult for me to accept my weakness. But that is what we are discussing. Spirituality is all about breaking free from that false illusions about myself, false images of myself, and accepting the reality. And easily I can move forward towards change.
Okay.
So that is actually the real freedom, where I am ready to accept my weaknesses also.
Okay.
And without having any hard feelings for you.
Okay.
Otherwise, yes, I am ready to change, but I don't want to hear that from you. That why you pointed me.
It irritates.
So it irritates because actually there is ego. So we need to realize that this is ego. And ego is not a problem for you. My ego is a problem for me. And it will keep creating problem for me. The whole thing, the whole problem revolves around this ego.
Okay. So how to differentiate between self-respect and ego? Because, at times, just to maintain my self-respect, somebody is pointing me continuously, I have to stop the person, right? Because then it can, deplete the self-respect that I have within. So how to maintain that balance, and in fact how to differentiate that my self-respect is turning into ego now.
Sometimes people also use this statement that, this person, he hurt my self-respect.
Yeah.
My self-respect got hurt. So when you say that, actually this statement is wrong.
Okay.
Because what gets hurt is ego.
Okay.
Self-respect cannot get hurt.
Okay.
Because self-respect means I respect myself.
Oh.
Self-respect is not about that you should respect me or you
Okay.
should accept me. So there is no expectation in that. So there is a very big difference. Rather, these are two opposites, self-respect and ego.
Okay.
So in self-respect, I am sitting on my own position inside, where I realize this is me. No matter what you say, you appreciate me or no, but I know my reality. So I'm not depending on your opinions in that, but ego gets hurt. There is a phrase which is written at many places here in our centers. You will find it. If it hurts, it is ego.
Okay.
So if I feel hurt, so that is the checking that I'm not respecting myself.
Oh.
And if I'm not respecting myself, how can I expect you to respect me?
Very true. It's very logical also. So in this situation, for example, I go to office and I perform certain tasks. I don't expect anybody to appreciate me, but at least nobody should take the credit. That is something that is there inside, because then it will hurt me. So is that ego? Is that self-respect? What it is?
I would say that we can differentiate between these two things. One thing is that I should take an action. If I see something is wrong and it's not justice and I should be speaking there, yes, I should. But without getting the hurt, without feeling hurt, without feeling upset or depressed, I can still take right action. And I feel that if I'm not hurt, I'm not disturbed, I can really think more logically. And I can think about the right thing, what I have to do.
Okay. So the right thinking, and when we talk about self-respect and when we talk about spirituality, how do we practice it? Because, if I sit and I talk to myself, I will validate what others are saying. Because, yes, I have made mistakes in my past and it is okay for them to say like that. I validate it and I accept it. Then I am not able to accept the real me. How to do that? Because that is also real. We can't change that.
Yeah.
So how we do it?
Yeah, that is right. That if you have done something wrong and they are again and again pricking you for that and reminding you your mistakes, on the one hand you feel that yes, they are right because I have done this wrong thing, wrong action before. But at the same time, I have to do one thing. Whatever wrong I did under any circumstances, whatever was the situation, but I right now, what is in my hand is this present moment.
Yes.
So in this present moment, I can see the past. Present is in my control, also completely in my control.
Yes.
So what I can do is, I cannot change the past.
No.
What I cannot do, I should not be thinking and wasting time for that.
Okay.
I cannot change that, but I can do one thing. I can take the lesson from the past.
Okay.
I can take something where I need to improve. So I take that. I don't feel bad about them who are saying, because they are also right.
Yeah.
And maybe they should not be saying that again and again because they are also wasting their time and without realizing. That's fine. That's their life. But for me, I have to think about me because spirituality is about myself.
Okay.
So I realized there was a mistake, and what was my pattern of thought at that time that was actually responsible for that wrong action of mine in the past. So understanding that subtle thing in my subconscious, then now I take a project for working on myself, that now I have to work on this part of my personality wherein I need some change. And I start working on that. I start improving. Day by day, my graph is going upwards. So that gives me satisfaction. I was in that situation. Now I'm here. And for future, I have a plan to improve further. And don't expect that people will understand that you have improved.
Yeah.
If they understand, it's fine. Some of them might. But if they don't, that's also their problem.
They don't appreciate you actually. Even if you have changed, they will not.
Yeah.
Even if you improve, I don't think majority of people will appreciate that. They're like, he should change.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal? That's very true. However, when we speak about this, I have this question in my mind that when we are in the process of that change, what happens is the past keeps coming to you. You want to think positive, you are thinking positive 90% of the time, but that for 10%, your past walks in, negativity walks in, and then it brings you down.
It's a process. It's a process. You have to deal with that. I mean, it's a process. It's a process that we have to go through. It's not that today I think about a change and it changes overnight. But the first step towards transformation is realization. So, end of the day, I appreciate myself that at least I realize. I realize where do I need to change and what steps I have to take towards that transformation. And I start my journey. And at every step, what I take towards that transformation, I keep appreciating myself so that I don't expect appreciation from anybody else. So that is the key.
Okay. So as you were speaking about how spirituality has to play the role when it comes to freedom, how it will help us transform, how it will help us appreciate our own selves and don't expect anything from others. Thank you, Sister Sapna, for sharing that valuable insight, and thank you for coming to studio.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So as Sister Sapna shared a lot of information, how we can do meditation, how we can go inside and not expect anything from others, and how we can appreciate ourselves, how we can transform ourselves. And I'm pretty sure all of us want to do that. We will meet in the next episode of Light of Knowledge International. Till then, it's a goodbye.
ओम शांति। ज़रा सोचिए, एक हैप्पी लाइफ को हम क्या डेफिनेशन देंगे? हैप्पी लाइफ का डेफिनेशन है जब हम हर मोमेंट को हैप्पीली जी सकते हैं। जैसे ये एक मोमेंट जो जा रहा है, कैन आई लिव दिस मोमेंट फुल्ली एंड कम्प्लीटली? फिर ये अगला मोमेंट, फिर ये अगला मोमेंट। इस तरह से जब हम हर सेकंड को पूरी तरह से जीते हैं, अपना 100% देते हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं ऐसे कलेक्शन ऑफ जो मोमेंट्स होते हैं, वो कलेक्शन ऑफ मोमेंट्स से हमारी पूरी लाइफ बन जाते हैं। तो हमारा जो गोल हो लाइफ का, वो ये नहीं कि हम अपनी पूरी लाइफ हैप्पी बनाएं, हम कुछ करें तो हम खुश हों, लेकिन हर चीज़ करते हुए हम खुशी को अनुभव करें, ये हमारे लाइफ का पर्पस हो, तब हम लाइफ को खुशी से जी सकते हैं। तो चलिए कुछ मोमेंट्स हम अपने लिए उस खुशी को क्रिएट करते हैं। वेरी वेरी रिलैक्स्ड, वेरी कंफर्टेबल। आप अगर कुछ कर रहे हैं, कहीं चल रहे हैं, तो आप बैठ जाएं। लेट द चेयर टेक योर वेट and your body is very, very relaxed. महसूस करें ये एक मोमेंट जो जा रहा है. इस एक मोमेंट को हम देखें, ऑब्जर्व करें. यदि कोई थॉट्स आपके मन में आ भी रही हो, तो जैसे पासिंग क्लाउड्स की तरह उन्हें जाने दें. लेट गो ऑफ योर थॉट्स. जैसे जैसे आप उन संकल्पों को लेट गो करते हैं, आप महसूस करेंगे कि आपका मन बहुत शांत, बहुत रिलैक्स होते जा रहा है. बस उस गहरी शांति में खो जाए. Complete sense of stillness को आप महसूस कर पा रहे हैं. उस अनुभव को हम और कुछ देर बनाए रखें. हम इस मोमेंट में एक थॉट क्रिएट करें that I am a happy being. इस मोमेंट में हम उस खुशी को क्रिएट करें और उस खुशी को पूरी तरह से महसूस करें. ओम शांति.
जा तू आत्मा रानी निंदिया लेकर आई बाबा की याद सुहानी निंदिया लेकर आई बाबा की याद सुहानी बाबा की याद सुहानी
Hi there, welcome to Spirit of Change. My name is Shalini and we have Sister Shireen with us here on the sets. And if you remember, we were talking about dealing with breakup. Now we move to the next step because usually breakup does result in depression. So now dealing with depression. Welcome, Sister. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Shalini. It's a pleasure being here with you.
Thank you. Me too. So, Sister, like, even if you look at the statistics that WHO has given us for the year 2017, is that the topic, the subject being depression, let's talk, because a lot of people don't talk about their depression.
Right.
And 1 out of every 4 seems to be suffering from this mental illness. So how can we, what is the spiritual antidepressant for depression?
First thing I want to share is that whatever we are talking about depression here is not for clinical depression.
Yes.
If you're clinically depressed, you should go to the doctor and you should get yourself treated.
True.
Because it's a very serious illness,
Yes.
just like diabetes or a heart problem. Depression is a problem. There shouldn't be a stigma around it.
Right.
If you have, a heart condition, you're not going to say, oh, I shouldn't talk about it. I shouldn't tell anyone about it.
Yes.
So clinical depression also, think of it as a disease and take the stigma around it and go to a doctor.
Right.
That's my advice for people who are clinically depressed. So this is for depression when you have to deal with, if you're clinically depressed, along with going to the doctor, or if you're depressed where you really don't want to take a medicine, but something that you can do can help.
Yes.
This suggestion is for those people.
Yes.
And so what I've noticed in my personal experience, there are physical things you have to do.
Okay.
The two physical things that I always recommend that people do when they're depressed is no sugar and exercise.
And exercise. Okay.
Definitely those two things. And then we can talk about the spiritual antidepressant. So no sugar and exercise is for sure.
All right. And
because sugar is a depressant. Just like alcohol is a
really?
depressant.
Okay.
Alcohol actually is a depressant.
Yes.
When you take alcohol, you feel a high.
Yes.
And then it really depresses you. So alcohol is a depressant, sugar is a depressant. And so we don't know sugar is a depressant, and it's just such a normal part of our daily life.
So probably that's why a lot of people who are depressed feel that sugar craving. They feel like, eating something sweet or chocolates.
Right.
Okay. And well, that's not what you should be doing.
Yeah, no sugar. I mean, dark chocolate with little sugar maybe, but definitely none of those Indian sweets. No. Those have a ton of sugar in them.
Right.
The other thing is spiritual antidepressant was your question.
Yes.
There are two things that really help is thinking about the true self is one, and having good wishes.
Yes.
And it really works like a medicine. Thinking about the true self and having good wishes. Because what happens is you have no idea the effect your mind has on your body.
Right. Yes. Yes. That's why they say for the depression that, it's not that when you're depressed, you don't control your thoughts. but your thoughts start controlling you.
But at some point, you can take control. You can't just give up control.
Yes, exactly.
You know? Like, let's say you have children and you didn't treat your children right and they become very unruly and they're totally ruling over you, but they're still your children. At some point, you can take control back.
You can take control back, yes.
And
you
so,
don't need to be harsh.
Yes.
You can be loving with them and still...
What I've noticed is a good mind, healthy body, no depression.
Yes.
So the mind has to be healthy first. And for the mind to be healthy, those two things. Reflect on the true self and good wishes for everyone.
Right.
There shouldn't be any harboring. You know, when we are depressed, we think the same thought again